Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal with the thoughts, analysis, and rant. We will be talking about the new recently announced Sony Alpha 6600 APS-C size rangefinder style camera. And so this has also been announced with the Alpha 6100, which is cheaper than the 6600, but I'm not going to talk about that because the 6100 is not worth talking about. And so I'm going to let you know how I feel about this camera right now. This is an incremental update to the 6400 and the 6500. Is it worth an upgrade if you have those cameras? No. So not only that, if you are looking for these types of cameras, you could also look at the 64 and 6500 because they will be cheaper. They will be at a discounted price because this camera is out. So first and foremost, let's get on with the specs, okay? So body only is $1,400, which is I think is overpriced, and then with 135mm lens, kit lens, or looks like a package lens, it will be $1,800, and in Canada it's $2,400. Wow, that's a big huge difference. So the frame will be a magnesium alloy body. It has a 24 megapixels, an old sensor, APS-C, obviously Bion's X. It has a ISO of 100 to 32,000, expandable to 102,400. It has an image in-body image stabilization, 5-axis. It has phase detect, contrast detect, eye detect, beast or animal detect, whatever you want to call it. 425 focus points. Obviously it has a Sony E lens mount. The screen, the back screen only tilts up. It flips up, it doesn't articulate. In terms of the EVF, it comes with 921,600 dots per inch, or actually just total dots. And then it also has a EVF, and then the viewfinder resolution is 2.3 million dots. That's on the EVF, okay? When I mean by the 921, that's on the screen, the back screen. And so maximum shutter speed of 1 out of 4,000. Obviously hot shoe. It does not have a built-in flash. I don't get that, but I will get to that later. 11 frames per second shots, which is pretty cool. It has a bigger battery now. Bigger battery. It will use the battery from the FC cameras. It can take 810 shots. This also means that the grip has gotten bigger. It has no GPS. It has Wi-Fi. It has a micro HDMI. It has a USB Type-C. It has USB charging, but the USB Type-C is running at 2.0 speed. Yes, not 3.0 and not 3.1, and I will get to that later, which I don't understand. It has a SD card. It uses SD cards, obviously. And other than that, that's basically it. But there's another thing. They added a headphone feature, headphone jack. This means that you can have a microphone, a good audio, and you can listen to audio real time because it also has an audio headphone jack. And so that is basically it for the for the specs. So what are my thoughts on this camera? Well, this is an incremental update. Again, this is one of those things that always bothers me. Where is the motivation? And every time Sony does this, they always release a new camera every year, and for some reason they always wait until the next few years to do the major upgrade. And every time, I don't get it. I really don't. But is this worth an upgrade to your current camera if you have the 6100, or if you have, no, I'm sorry, not 6400, 6300, 6400, and 6500? I say no. If you have a Fuji, should you switch to this? No. If you have a Micro Four Thirds, should you switch to this? I'd say no. If you are a video, if you like blogging, should you switch to this? I'd say no, and I will get to that later. So, this is an overpriced Sony APS-C size camera that is not worth its price, and it is not worth its features. Sony could have done more, but they only did enough, I guess, to stay relevant. And so that's basically my thoughts. So onto the analysis. Will this move units when it comes to the market share? No, because it is overshadowed by its full frame brother or sister. Will this make an effect on the APS-C class or segment? No, because the problem with that is Sony is not doing major upgrades. They're doing incremental updates, while Fuji is actually doing the major updates, and this is why Fuji is controlling the APS-C segment. I mean, I don't hear anybody talking about, oh, you should get a Sony Alpha 6500. No, I only hear people, you should get an XT3, XT2, SH. That's all I hear. It's Fuji, Fuji, Fuji. Look, there are some nice additions as finally having in-body stabilization. I know the 6500 had it, but finally they upgraded the battery. But why did you have to take out the built-in flash? You have enough size in the body to have it. So in the segments of APS-C, this is not changing anything. This is not leveling up Sony. It's basically staying Sony where it is. The only good thing about this, if you are into these cameras by Sony, strictly Sony, then glad that 6400 and 6500 will be on sale. And Sony's gonna look at that and gonna say, hey, how come people are not buying the 6600? People are buying the old line models. Well, that's because the old line models price went down and they become worth it based on the price. It became a value that they don't see the 6600 as the value price camera. Now, because $1,400, it's it's an addition by subtraction basically of a camera. And that is basically my analysis of this camera, and I wish I could say more, but that's what it is. So let's get on with my rant, okay? Number one, flip screen. It's only a flip screen. That means that if you put a microphone on this, on the hot shoe, the microphone is going to block it. Again, why don't you just do a fully articulation on the side, or do what Fuji did, which is basically have that and yet it can flip on its side facing you? I don't get it. I mean, we've had the 6300, the 6400, 6500. We've had what, 4 years, and yet Sony can't still comprehend a fully articulated screen. I have a Olympus EM5 Mark II. It has a fully articulated screen, and it's the same size as this. I don't get it. Number two, incremental upgrades or updates. Again, this is what kills me about these brands. Where is the motivation? If you really want to just go against the competition, just go all out. Just be like, you know what? We put everything in here that a person needs. This will be the only camera that a person needs. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with having the features that you want in a camera? Number three, no built-in flash. This kills me. So the other previous models had it, and yet you can't even fit one. And don't tell me that because we put bigger camera. That's BS. The Sony Nex 7 had it. Had the built-in flash. Had the EVF, built-in EVF. Had a hot shoe. And yet you can't put on this one, and you're charging $1,400, and it could be $1,500 or $1,800 depending on the country where you're from. That's crazy. Look, I'll give them this. They have a built-in image stabilization, but then again, they brought that in the A6500. Okay. Number four is its price. Again, it is overpriced. So listen to this. For the body only, $1,400. In Canada, it's $1,900. And then the camera kit that comes with 18 to 135 millimeter lens, which is what? It could be a 28 to 200 millimeters, whatever. It's gonna be, because of the crop factor, $1,800, and then $2,400 in Canada. Are you serious? I don't care who you are, but that's up there. You might as well get the A7S, A7Rs full frame cameras by Sony. Number 5, and this one, this thing really is small, but it just bothers me. Look, if you're transferring files, pictures, and videos from your camera to the computer via USB Type-C, it's not gonna run as fast. It's not gonna transfer as fast because it's running at the USB 2.0 speed. It's not running at a 3.0 or a 3.1. I'll give you this. It has USB Type-C charging, but what's with the slow transfer speed? No GPS. Again, what's wrong with that? You put a bigger battery. Why not add GPS? GPS would have been nice. And then last but not least, it's using an old sensor. Old sensor. So you're telling me, you're giving me $1,400, and yet you're presenting the camera industry with an old sensor. A sensor that's basically what, 3 to 4 years old? It basically reminds me of Canon. And that's what it is. Sony is looking like Canon. Look, I'll give them where credit is due, okay? Has a headphone jack, listening to your audio for clarity. It has eye detect, has animal detect, object tracking. It has headphone audio microphone jack. But at the same time, you took out the built-in flash. It still has a flip screen. Come on, we're in 2019, and I don't want you to tell me this for videographers. This for those bloggers out there. And yet, if I'm gonna put a microphone on the hot shoe, the screen is going to be blocked. Again, I don't get these type of decisions, and where are these type of decisions coming from? And so that basically concludes my thoughts, analysis, and rant of the Sony a6600, the APS-C sensor camera. Tell me what you think of this camera. Do you think this is even worth buying at all, or are you gonna wait until the price drops? If this was $700, I think it's worth it, but for $1,400, it's not. And so I will see you in the next thoughts, analysis, and rant. Bye bye.